55 matching yellow.
Please be seated. Good morning and welcome. Welcome, friends of Frederica Academy and friends of the seniors. Welcome, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff, parents, and extended family members of the seniors. Welcome all to the 47th graduation ceremony at Frederica Academy, honoring the class of 2021. Thank you all for driving over to campus and joining us this morning. This has been another challenging spring in terms of the school being able to host large groups on campus, and this has impacted special events in particular. To be able to enjoy the baccalaureate service earlier this week and now graduation all together as we should, safely, signals that a lessening of restricted mandates in response to the pandemic are on the horizon. At the very least, the recent trending of relaxed guidelines has allowed us to gather this morning without masks to pay tribute to these seniors, and for that I am very grateful. Before we get started in the formal program, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge all of those who have worked so diligently to prepare the grounds and make this setting attractive for you graduates and your family. Beachview Event Rentals and Design, Ace Hardware, Kelly Trowbridge, and Mickey Carter. Again, thank you for coming. This will be an hour of great celebration, worthy of your time. I promise you that.
You can come up, James.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. Welcome, everyone, to the Frederica Academy Class of 2021 graduation ceremony. I'm James Cruikshank, and I'm honored to introduce this ceremony today. Would everyone please join me in bowing our heads for the invocation? Lord, we come forward to you today, and thanks for your guidance. You have guided these students in striving towards goals that make you proud. You have granted these families and students your unconditional love so they, too, can give unconditional love back into the world in your name. But most of all this year, you have granted us adversity. You have given us the love and tools to continue to push forward amidst the most difficult of challenges these past 9 months, and through your strength, we never folded. Now, we can finally celebrate. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together today, family and friends alike, in this rare celebration of achievement, and watch over those who are unable to attend today. In your name, amen. And now, I would like everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And the long road stretched out in front of us. It's surreal, adding another mile marker to the road of life. That is what we are here to celebrate today, the milestone achievements of our class of 41 astounding individuals. This is the culmination of 14 years of ruts in the road, of hard-fought victories, of the beautiful sacrifices that we, our families, our teachers, and our administrators made to get us to this point, draped in cap and gown to finally stare down the road ahead. Our principal, Mike Temple, who we all hear from in a moment, once told me to keep a notebook of the little pieces of life that can fall between the cracks of the day-to-day. Just a simple collection of thoughts, situations, and quotes to keep with me, to add as life passes by faster than we can sometimes comprehend. Of course, I didn't go out and buy a notebook. These days, I can just keep them in my phone. But regardless, I took his advice, because knowing me, I want to put it in a book someday. So, with that, I started my quote journal. And now I wanted to reflect on these past few years, and so I went to that journal, and the first quote that I entered in that was a quote from Michael Temple himself. Empathy is when we apply experience to action. This quote was left without context or definition, but I think that only serves to its benefit. It's something so universal, an axiom so true regardless of situation, that leaving it without any details allowed me to see it in a new light. It allowed me to see that here we are, prepared to receive diplomas that certify our experiences, and as a literal of a sense that I can make it. What we do as we thunder past these next mile markers is impossible to predict, but the fact of the matter is, no matter what the future holds, we will be applying our experience to action. We have done so already in these past few years, experiencing the importance of community through service, experiencing the beauty of true friendship amongst one another, experiencing the catharsis of success after surmounting a seemingly impossible task. Through all these small situations, it becomes clear to see that, in the end, high school's greatest gift is the ability to turn these experiences into actions. We all start out as little kindergarteners, unable to articulate that simply all of us want to make the world a better place. While we may have said at first that we wanted to be firefighter astronauts, which seems a lot more possible now than it did 18 years ago, in essence, all we wanted to do was achieve empathy, of using our future skills to change the world on some basis of the small or large, and I do not believe that has ever changed. We are all equipped with the knowledge of not what only can be found in textbooks, but we have learned in conversations, on sports teams, during late-night study sessions or early morning meetings. We as a class are all ready to harness that empathy, to use these experiences to make the world better in whichever way that we see fit. That's what I see when I look in front of me. A group ready to use our lives on the behalf of making things better for another, actively or passively. Finally, we have the ability to stare down this road with a glint of pride in our eye, with minds brimming with potential, with experiences to discern between right and wrong, and with genuine aspiration for the future. I am honored to open up this day of joyous celebration and be the first words on your road to empathy. Thank you.
The Benefield Awards recognize 13 or more years of education at Frederica Academy. For those unfamiliar with academic cycles, this means start to finish. FA Nightlifer. This year's recipients should come forward to receive their Benefield Awards from me on the stage. The first is John Alden Beimler. Kaysen Ralph Cavalier. Catherine Ann Seymour. And Garrett James Squire. The ties that bind recognize graduating seniors whose parent or parents graduated from Frederica Academy. For the class of 2021, Kate Seymour, could you please rise? Jeff Seymour, class of 1987, could you please rise? Congratulations to your family for creating a generational legacy at our beautiful island home. Thank you very much. It is now my honor to introduce Kate Seymour, can you rise again, as the Salutatorian of the class of 2021. AP Scholar with Distinctive. Go ahead and applaud, that's worth it. AP Scholar with Distinction. Morris C. Johnson, GISA, Top Academic Athlete Award for Class 3A. Edie Payne Award winner, Georgia Certificate of Merit, NHS member, 11 APs taken, numerous teacher awards, accomplished athlete with state recognition in 2 sports, cross country and soccer, committed community service leader, organizer, and participant. I could go on and on listing her academic, athletic, and service accomplishments that would embarrass Kate unbearably. Let's think about the presence of Kate Seymour on our campus and in our community. Kate is a role model for everyone sitting in this audience. She models the foundational beliefs of this school to her core: honor, trust, respect, effort, kindness, mind, body, spirit. The faculty trusts Kate. She has earned the respect of our community because of that trust and her absolute acceptance of the responsibility of her immense talents and habits. The definition of a role model is someone who earns the trust of their peers and is willing to accept the responsibility that comes with that trust. Leadership is not a title or a position, it is action and examples. Harry Truman's definition of a leader is a person who can persuade people to do what they do not want to do and like it. There are people in this world who have habits and personalities that make other people want to do the right thing even when no one else is looking. Kate Seymour is that presence for the class of 2021. She is quiet, but she makes the conversation, the class, the meeting rise to a different level of expectation because of her work ethic. She's not the leader yelling to storm the beach. She's the trusted role model that makes everybody want to get the job done the right way. Her quiet leadership is recognized by her peers, her teachers, and our entire community. The best way to describe her leadership talents is that Kate is the rising tide that lifts all boats in the group she is with. Though she gets recognized for all of her considerable ability and effort, she wants the group to get better than the day they were before. Because everyone trusts her intentions and her leadership by genuine example, people have higher expectations of themselves, and they tend to rise to those expectations in her presence. For all our talk about academic honors and achievements, the real result of a good education is how much trust and respect you earn and how you treat people and ideas. I guess that's the best way to describe Kate Seymour, is that she has left this place, these people, this class, and the community cleaner than she found it. Would you all rise to recognize Kate Seymour as the Salutatorian of the class of 2021? She will attend, like this one, Washington and Lee University next year. Go Generals. Kate, please come to the podium for your salutatorian address. Congratulations.
Good morning, everybody. It is an honor and a privilege to welcome all the faculty, friends, and family who are able to be here to witness the monumentous occasion that is the graduation ceremony of the class of 2021. Thank you all who are here, along with countless others who couldn't make it, for the constant support and care that you have provided for the graduates that stand before me today. Thomas Monson once said, "The past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. The present is here, live it." When leaving behind a place or period of time so impactful, we have to bring ourselves back to the start. Whether that is walking through Happy Hall for the first time, mesmerized by all the colorful tiles smiling at you, excited to be Star Student of the Month for Mrs. Allison, going to be archaeologists at Fort Frederica, or walk up on the Hamilton Hall stage during morning meeting when it is your birthday month. Or maybe it is entering Benefield Hall, in awe that you are old enough to have a locker and a 7-period schedule, eager to go hiking in the rain at Carpe Vitam, play against Glen Middle in school sports, or accidentally leave Senora Gallagher during our Washington, D.C. trip. Or whether you started out by stepping into Cornhall, almost hypnotized by the countless decorations in Mr. Job's room and the spiral staircase that lies in the academic center. Delighted at doing the idea of the leap of faith with the seniors and freshmen, doing community service in time to turn in your NHS hours, or going to your first high school dance. We have to remember how unexpectedly we found so many things that ended up changing our lives, how seemingly random the cards were stacked right before they unfolded the way they did. We must remember all the temple tantrums and the Nevin's nose. We must learn from the past. We have to remember the world is more chaotic than we give it credit for. There are people, places, and experiences we couldn't have dreamt up if we tried. I don't think any of us would have thought we would have gone through as many different English teachers as we have. Shout out to Ms. Walbridge for sticking it through with us. I don't think anyone could have imagined beforehand Josh Elliott falling in the junior kayaking trip and saving his Pedialyte. Sorry. I never dreamt that one of my favorite classes would only be made up of 5 people who are now friends with someone called Jeopardy Jeff. Life has given us all these memories for the better, and life will do it again, as long as we don't let the endings close us off from the new beginnings that await us. The future is scary, but I think we all have had enough talks with Mrs. Nevins and Mr. Temple to get each and every one of us the best level of preparedness possible. And now we are fortunate enough to be here today and accept our certificate that guarantees we are indeed qualified enough to step forward into what comes next. College is on the horizon, which all of us have been aware of ever since we had our first class meeting with Miss Nevins. We must recognize that this time was, and now is coming sooner rather than later, with 0 Mondays remaining. We must prepare for the future. It's rare and it's wonderful to ever find a place or certain situation that makes you want to linger for longer. We are creatures of the past and the future, always mourning what we've done or gunning fearlessly towards what comes next. When happiness hits us, we yearn to grasp it as mercilessly as possible, not realizing that we have to let it go for it to mean anything at all. We have to continue to remember to live in the moment, take advantage of the here and now. How else will we make memories as once in a lifetime as seeing Zach and Garrett singing Newsies, or as lively as going to the wastewater treatment plant? We have to keep moving onward, facing forward, steering constantly into the fearful unknown. We must know all the best moments of our lives are still waiting for us on the other side. We must live in the present. Class of 2021, we've made it to the beginning of that other side. Our unique, fun, and hardworking path that our time here at Frederica paved behind us. Thank you all for everyone's contribution to this experience and for your attention now.
Thank you, Kate. At this time, it's my honor to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2021. Sarah Rose Sarzier, could you please rise to be recognized? Just by being asked to stand at this moment, we all recognize the academic ability of Sarah. Georgia Scholar, Georgia Certificate of Merit, 10 AP classes taken, AP Scholar with Distinction, Service Council President, Communities and School Board and Student Board, Humane Society Teen Board, United Community Bank Board, National Honor Society, Cheerleading Captain, Dancer, Bates Book Award, Furman Scholars, AP Language, Spanish 2, Economics, Biology, Pre-Calculus Honors Teachers Awards. The Joe Berg Humanities Seminar participant, and there is a lot more, but I would like to paint a different picture for everyone of the spirit of Sarah. Let me paint a recurring scene that happens to me every morning at 7:55, about right outside the sun over there. The same scene is played out since Sarah's been able to drive. I stand in the parking lot, shaking my head, every morning trying to get the morning mayhem to go down to a minimum. Little boys and big trucks, parents dropping off students, and then Sarah arrives in the blue car. She takes a few minutes to get everything ready to go, and she makes her way to school. She's always impeccably dressed, 4 to 5 packed bags on her arms as she somehow maintains her balance on her high-heeled shoes, with a smile on her face and a plan for the day. I've never met a student or a person more impressively accessorized than Sarah. Most of our students, right down in front of me, leave a track of debris or small storms of paper, water bottles, and piles of clothes in their car. Not Sarah. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Here comes Sarah with the bags, the shoes, the accessories for the day. Frederica Academy offers a liberal arts education. The point of an independent upper school education is to let students to try on different classes, sports, activities, different things on to see if they are a good fit. How do you know if you're good at it or not? How are you supposed to find your passion, your career, your backbone if you don't try a little of everything? In other words, you have to accessorize your education. A little of this and a little of that until you create your path to college and adult life. Albert Einstein said that the value of a liberal arts education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind and the spirit to think of something that cannot be learned in textbooks. The liberal arts education is about trying on educational accessories to find out what works best for you. Teaching, watching, and working with Sarah proves this essential point about a really good education. It's not the score on the ACT. It's not the AP exam or knowing the facts. A good education guides you towards what makes you interested and interesting. I cannot tell you how many times Sarah has asked a question in class, and her comment that ends the conversation is always, "That's interesting." From day one, Sarah has embraced the liberal arts education and walked away interested in all that she has learned. Her activities, her clubs, her classes, the relationships, these are all the accessories she has tried on. I'm not sure what her major will be or how she will use her immense skills of organization and focus, but I do know that over the next 4 years, in her own words, will be interesting and interested in all that the University of Virginia has to offer. Please rise and accept the work and applaud the work ethic, engagement, and discipline of Sarah Rose Sarzier as she makes her way to the podium for the valedictorian address. Congratulations.
Good morning, family, friends, faculty, and most importantly to the class of 2021. I am deeply honored to speak with you this morning on this monumental occasion in each of our lives. Reaching high school graduation is an immense accomplishment, but to do so with the enduring support of our families, our teachers, and the friends we've made along the way makes this day all the more special. I would like to begin by thanking a few of the many people who have been instrumental in all of our journeys, including my own, throughout our time at Frederica. We would certainly not be here today without the support and encouragement of these people. First of all, I would like to give the greatest of thank yous to all of the parents of this graduating class. You have shaped us into the people we are today, supported us from day one, and believed in our dreams almost more than we have ourselves. Our achievement today is also your achievement, for you have given us the courage to take risks, the wisdom to succeed, and the belief that we will end up exactly where we are meant to be. Thank you to the teachers that have become mentors and have supported us in all of our academic endeavors, challenging us to become better students and people. Thank you so much to Ms. Nevins for her tireless efforts on behalf of the senior class in order to get each of us into great colleges and for answering every question conceivable. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. Temple for everything he has done for our class for the past 4 years. He has worked to make each of us better students within the classroom and more responsible adults in the real world. While we sometimes drive him crazy, okay, all the time, Mr. Temple is always there to give words of wisdom, offer suggestions, or simply to listen. Even though he would never admit it, I know that he will miss us, and I guarantee that we return the sentiment. Since our first days in Corn Hall as freshmen, we have grown into stronger, more confident students, learning with each step that we take. We began freshman year as naive children, looking at the then senior class as adults who seemed intimidatingly older and more experienced than ourselves. However, as we found our footing and discovered our place within the school, we became more sure of ourselves, building our confidence every day. Since then, we've endured our first AP exams during sophomore year, a stressful yet unprecedented junior year, and finally took our place as the senior class, the top of the food chain, the ones we had looked up to since day one. As freshmen, we were told by upperclassmen, don't blink, and they were right, because before you know it, you're standing at a podium in front of your classmates giving the farewell address at a graduation that always seemed to be in the distant future, all while hoping that you didn't miss a second of it. What I have learned is that while the days may seem long, life flies past at warp speed, so we must appreciate the time we have and the people we share it with. Today marks the end of an extraordinary chapter in our lives and the beginning of the next. Now, as we begin to look ahead to the future, we are each filled with the excitement and anticipation brought with going to college, becoming an adult, and beginning the next chapter in our lives. However, while our stories until now have been intertwined, it is now time to part ways and fill the pages with new stories, new friends, and new experiences. Each of us has a path ahead of us, albeit different paths that will lead us all over the country and the world. It is time for each of us to write our own stories and discover our destined path. No one knows exactly where this next road will lead us, as we can't flip through the pages of life to the end of the chapter, like in one of our English books. But what I can tell you is that everyone's story will undoubtedly be exciting and full of remarkable achievements. The next chapter of our lives is upon us, and it's time to put our writing skills to the test. I hope that when each of us look back many years from now on these chapters of our lives, we are satisfied with the decisions we've made, the paths we've forged, and the many joyous memories we have made. High school went by in a blink of an eye, and I'm sure our college years will too. So I ask each of you to pursue your passions, whatever they may be, and dedicate yourself to the pursuit of knowledge, because before you know it, you will find yourself right in the middle of the future you have constantly been designing and revising since you were little. My hope for each of us is that we completely dedicate ourselves to learning from everyone we meet, to growing through each new experience, and to constantly discovering the world around us. However, in the coming years, there will be challenges, there will be setbacks, and there will be failure. But these inevitabilities are how we learn. Through these challenges and setbacks and failure, we continue to grow and become stronger and more determined as a result. The key is that when you fall down, you must have the courage to get back up, dust yourself off, and persevere in pursuit of your dreams. From what I've learned, courage is that secret ingredient that allows you to overcome your greatest challenges when all you want to do is give up. It pushes you to dare to be different, to march straight down the path to your dreams. It is with passion, self-confidence, and most importantly, courage, that we take our next steps into the world, the first steps down our differing paths to success and fulfillment. Some may say our dreams are crazy, but those who have the courage to dream big are often the ones who enact the most change. So my advice to each of you is be courageous in the pursuit of your dreams, to understand those around you, to be a catalyst for innovation, to change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I made a mistake earlier and left something out, so I'm going to put it in here before we move on. There was one more ties that bind that I want to make sure I correct that. Mason McGraw, can you stand, please? Michael McGraw, class of 1997, could you also please stand? My apologies for leaving that out. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Mr. Hutchinson now.
People who fight fire with fire usually end up in ashes. Abigail Van Buren. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. Alan Kay. Last year at graduation, I spoke both about the importance of people discussing and agreeing to disagree civilly on issues of contention and the value of hearing and thoughtfully considering another's point of view. I challenged our 2020 graduates that their willingness and their ability to engage in important discussions with people with dissimilar viewpoints and to learn and grow from those exchanges would be critical to their personal development to any emerging positive solutions regarding difficult matters involving them in the future. This year, I would like to generally remain on that topic again and extend both that line of thinking and the challenge associated with that line of thinking. It is hard for me to move beyond this issue at graduation as long as I see it as a fundamental barrier confronting our nation and our world, and as long as I see it as an area in which young people can very much make a positive difference and make a difference right now. This year, I would like the members of the class of 2021 to continue to think about their role in the world, increasingly filled with myriad intersections of diverse thought and beliefs, and the accompanying deep passion that often surrounds the people who hold these strong and oppositional views. Again, for me, it is virtually impossible to live in America in 2021 in a world so diverse and yet so interdependent and not witness daily the inability or the unwillingness of some people, and especially leaders, to engage in and learn from constructive ideological divergent exchanges. In fact, the increasingly polarizing characterization of others and others' ways of thinking only confuses and compounds the challenges of actually solving the problems in today's and tomorrow's world. As an educator who continues to watch classes of high school graduates enter college and the life beyond college, it is also equally difficult for me to ignore the newfound potential power that voting-age young people have in influencing the way that leaders should be expected to behave and lead, and in reshaping conversations in their community in constructive ways. I can think of no more important matter in my lifetime, nor a better opportunity to improve a situation that needs improving, than for our FA graduates to step forward and set a high standard for participating in conversations that reflect a collection of diverse viewpoints and some powerful emotions attached to those viewpoints, and to elevate the conversation and end result. But to do that, graduates, you must be able to see another's viewpoint, absorb another's passion, including criticism of your own viewpoints, and even, when the bar settles at its very lowest, endure verbal attacks on your purpose and maybe even your person. To participate at that level, all the while sorting through what is right and true for you and what is right and true for your community, that is the challenge I put forward to you today. There are always ways to interact with others that raise the level of both understanding and discourse. And I want you, the Frederick Academy class of 21, to lead the way in those interactions. I have delivered enough graduation talks long now, and I know relatively the brief interest span of the audience that allows me, given the anticipation headline moment when each graduate walks across the stage and receives both a diploma and a well-earned moment in the sun. I know how easy it is to lose the message listening to one of these talks, especially on a gorgeous mid-morning May morning sitting on Sea Island Green. So the remainder of my remarks simply recount a revealing story that I hope illustrates for you how impactful being a constructive participant in a highly volatile discussion can change a person's life or even change a small portion of the world. Michael Weiser and Larry Trapp lived in the same town outside Lincoln, Nebraska in the early 1990s. Michael noticed that there were many people of other ethnicities moving into town that weren't getting connected to the local network of neighbors. So he began to create welcome baskets for them. He knew that they were feeling like outsiders since most of the locals were not African American, Asian, or Hispanic. Larry Trapp was the grand dragon of the local Ku Klux Klan. He stood for everything opposed to what Michael Weiser was doing. He was, in fact, anonymously calling those people who were new to town and demanding that they leave town or there would be trouble. In fact, he would threaten their lives if they didn't move out. When Larry Trapp heard what Michael Weiser was doing with the welcome baskets, he decided to call him and threaten his life too. Michael returned home one night to hear this threat on his telephone answering machine. Do you know how he responded? Instead of fueling the fire, he never called the police. He decided that every phone call deserved a call back. So he did his homework on who might have made such a call. And of course, it didn't take him very long to deduce who had left the message, as Larry Trapp had a reputation in town. Michael called Larry back. And this is what he said. "Larry, this is Michael Weisner. I got your phone call." And without mentioning the threat, he continued, "I want you to know I did some homework on you, and I heard that you were a diabetic. I also heard that you were confined to a wheelchair. Larry, I just got to thinking that maybe someone like you could use the help of someone like me. You see, I have a large van, and I would be glad to drive over, pick you up, and run some errands for you if you ever needed that. Do you think you would ever be interested in that?" Larry Trapp was stunned. He was quiet for a few minutes. Then he mustered the words, "No, thank you. But thank you for the gesture. I have never been offered something like that before." As fate would have it, the next day, Larry did call Michael and took up his offer. The two men began spending time together over the next few weeks, and they became friends, good friends, which led to Larry Trapp's resignation from the Klan and his public denouncement of all that he had done with them. Larry Trapp ended up moving in with Michael, where he stayed until he eventually died with his diabetic complications. But that wasn't until the town had been transformed by one person who acted with dignity and compassion instead of reacting with anger or ignorance. We all have chances every day in our interactions with others to listen, to learn, and to improve a situation. People regularly don't agree on a particular idea. People often feel very strongly about an idea that's important to them, and people often criticize other people's ideas. As soon-to-be graduates of this school, I am both hopeful and confident that you will go off to college and then to your new communities beyond college and remember the story of Michael Weiser and Larry Trapp. Michael's willingness and ability to understand Larry and recraft the energy of the conversation so that the best in Larry could emerge and the community in which they both lived could improve set Michael apart. I believe there is some Michael Weisner in all of you seniors. The challenge, of course, is in a situation where your beliefs, your character, and your composure are being tested. If you are able to have that Michael Weiser part in you step forward and lead your speech and your actions. Today, as you graduate, I am filled with optimism, born out of my 2-year shared history with you, that time and again, in the years ahead, you will do just that. To close then, and circling back to the resounding truths expressed in my opening pithy quotes, Van Buren's cautionary aphorism reminds us that unless you want to spend the rest of your life knee-deep in ashes, you will need to find a better response to fire than fire. I cannot even imagine any of you graduates seeking, being comfortable in, or even tolerating an existence within the flames of intolerance, hatred, and untruths. Similarly, I can't imagine any of you not believing in the very real possibility of your creating a bright future of your own and doing the work and investing the effort to ensure that that bright future becomes a reality. Kay's words of motivations and inspiration urge us all to actually design and construct the future that we want to be part of. And the Michael Weisner, Larry Trapp anecdote reveals that by treating others with empathy and compassion and being open to learning and growing through thoughtful interactions with others, that future is entirely possible. Seniors, I'm happy for you and proud of you this morning. Enjoy this time with the family and friends who have walked this journey alongside you and helped you to get to this special moment. You are closing in on one chapter of fond memories and priceless friendships, and at the same time opening another one filled with promise and hope. Godspeed. Thank you. A word of appreciation for this year's graduates prior to your coming to the stage and receiving your diplomas and your Bibles. Thursday's baccalaureate event was important and helpful for me to continue to gain insight and better understand and appreciate each member of this class and the class as a group. I was reminded time and again throughout this service that the whole of the class is clearly greater than the composite sum of the parts, and that is a terrific compliment to your relationships and your friendships, first formed, then strengthened over the years. Thank you for being the leaders and the positive community members that you have been throughout your high school years, and especially during this past year with all its COVID-related challenges. Some of those restrictions impacted activities and important parts of your campus life more than anyone would have wanted, but you have done an admirable job accepting the restrictions and making the best of the situation. There's a lot that goes into the dynamics of a high school class, even with only 41 members. Many of you have grown up together over the years in a familiar setting like FA. You are truly a collection of unique individuals with a wide array of interests, talents, and personalities, and your talks at Baccalaureate reminded me even more of that. Thank you for recognizing each other's uniqueness, for celebrating each other on the good days and tolerating each other on the challenging ones. Thank you for trying hard and doing your best an extraordinarily high percentage of the time. Thank you for being both kind and respectful to yourself and others. I have heard the stories of this class and members of the class over the years, and again at the service the other night, both the light and the not light moments. And you have clearly come to a place now as graduating seniors where the light shines through brightly and the growth and maturity. It is my pleasure in particular to share the school experience with you these past 2 years, and for Mr. Temple, Ms. Nevins, and many of the upper school faculty who have been seen and integrated with you hour by hour, day after day, for a much longer period than my 2 years. It is a privilege now to call you to the stage with Mr. Temple and present you each with a moment in the sun, a well-earned diploma. Greer Brown, the chairman of Frederica Academy's Board of Trustees, stands behind me and will join Michael and I on the stage to present you, in the long-standing tradition, a Bible and a diploma. Michael?
Now's the time we've been waiting for. Ben, can we start? Benjamin Philip Armstrong. John Alden Beimler. Rebecca Christian Brooks. Marlena Patricia Carmena. Benjamin Dale Carroll. Kaysen Ralph Cavalier. Xavier Londrell Collier. William Owen Counts. James Kevin Crookshank. Isabella Brinson Crumbliss. Joshua Everett Elliott. Elijah Hill Fritchman. Thomas Luke Henderson. Lauren Elizabeth Job. Olivia Hope Kiernan. Mason Andrew McGraw. Dylan James McHugh. Dylan could not be with us this morning, but go ahead and do the applause, please. Joshua James Meadows. Virginia Madison Moore. Ty Nicholas Papalardo. Madison Angela Patron. Kyle Christopher Perez. Zachary Joseph Powell. Kenneth Bryant Quinn. Jaden Lee Rose Scally. Kyler Robert Roy. Michael Daniel Roy. Sarah Rose Sarzier. Catherine Ann Seymour. Delon Marquise Spencer. Garrett James Squire. Isabella Saul Swenson. Virginia Ann Elizabeth Tennant. James William Thompson. Rebecca Michelle Tiller. Jacob Luke Triplett. Camden Mitchell Truitt. Daniel Luke Veal. Colin Ellis Vinatero. Brett Matthew Viverito. John David Weaver.
Please sit down. The tradition of moving of the tassel on one's cap from the right side to the left side symbolizes a candidate becoming a graduate, obtaining a degree, moving from one level of knowledge to another. I invite all of our recent graduates to now do that and move your tassel. The tradition of tossing one's cap in the air began in 1912 at the U.S. Naval Academy, where midshipmen were required to wear caps for the first 2 years. When they were commissioned as naval officers, the caps were no longer required, and they threw their caps in the air to signify the joy in that passing. We did not experience a throwing of the caps tradition last year in deference to COVID. This year's cap toss is certainly well earned. Graduates, perhaps with a little extra effort and height now to your toss for those seniors last year who were unable to do the same. Congratulations. This is the moment. You only get one cap toss in your high school career. For the cameras, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, toss. Apologies to anyone who was hit in the first row with debris. Thank you all for coming today. Be safe. Enjoy your graduates this weekend. Thank you.
Perfect day. No bugs. No bugs. The sun was brutal on some people.